about you. Yeah, this is her. Come get her. Okay. Okay. Ready? Ready? So. Anyway, thank you for joining me today as we delve into a pressing concern among all of humanity. That is the case of the pressing and growing case of depression in America, and mostly America, and how to make a more proactive treatment plan for people afflicted with depression. I want to emphasize the imperative nature of treating through, rather than antidepressants, which are known to have side effects like worsened depressive episodes and forced suicidal thoughts through the medication side effects, and more through conversing and understanding depression and people affected with it. 1 in every 5 teenagers face the struggle of depression. It's not a distant issue, but it's a challenge affecting communities, schools, and families. Depression, as a case, is often hidden behind societal norms and the taboo of speaking about it. A lot of people believe that they can speak easily and openly about depression as a medical issue or as a mental issue that can be treated through medicines. But a lot of the, almost all people who have depression feel ashamed about feeling that way, or don't understand why they feel that way, or have a complex set of just terrible thoughts that they have towards everything and or themselves. And our society has made speaking on depression naturally throughout all of the years that, throughout the centuries that America has existed and other countries have existed. Depression has been seen as sort of like, it's so difficult to understand that people will attempt to ignore it or press away from it or try to get away from people who are depressed, ignore them and try to see if it gets better. And although some groups will speak on their supportive nature of the issue, many individuals will avoid confronting the topic entirely due to the vulnerability that it takes to be and or talk to somebody who is depressed. In a world free of that stigma, awareness becomes the torchbearer of change. Lack of awareness perpetuates misconception, hindering those that are silently suffering from seeking the help they need. Imagining a world where mental health is discussed openly would allow us to create that awareness, and that awareness would become a powerful tool to understand those people. Depression is not a specific set of behaviors. And it can affect anybody of any background, whether that be a delinquent or an athlete with a perfect track record and perfect grades, a 4.0. A specific example of this reach is a high school to college student named Harry Miller, who spoke in a news report in a survey about depression. And he spoke on how even though he had perfect grades and he was like a star football player, MVP in most of his games, he still ended up becoming depressed and had attempted suicide due to his depression. And he speaks on that, and he says that despite being so set up and so incredibly successful, he still had no problem giving it all up in the case of his death. Another victim of the influence of depression was Katie Meyer, who was, I believe, in the same school as Harry Miller, and she took her own life at the age of 22. Dr. Flesher says this is not an issue reserved for the far and away. And he is a specialist in child psychology at UCLA, saying that not all people that consider suicide are outwardly upset and or depressed. Communities, schools, and families play pivotal roles in fostering environments that encourage speaking about feelings and depression, and conversations about mental health. Our collective responsibility is to become more proactive in these talks, and instead of relying on antidepressants due to all their side effects, we can rely on, as I said before, understanding and getting to the point where talking about it is easily done. To prevent depressed individuals from having to carry the burden of their depression alone. Having an environment that makes it easy to share and converse on their feelings without the objective of making a person feel okay for the sake of people being worried about them, instead understanding how they feel and being able to help them take steps to be able to be at least okay with themselves. And some signs of depression are effects like oversleeping, lack of sleep and rest, and inability to feel excited about things that they used to take pleasure in, or anything of that nature that is usually polarizing to how they act normally. Understanding and knowledge is power, and a fundamental aspect of communication, of understanding and knowledge, is communication. Encouraging individuals to reach out, to speak openly about struggles, and foster a culture of active listening can be transformative. The simple act of reaching out to someone can be a natural treatment to help to fix their issues. And allowing a person that is afflicted with depression discourse to be able to speak to people and treat themselves through talking through everything they feel and everything they think would hugely help them to either stand away from suicide or from thoughts of suicide, or help prevent or help them want to seek a therapist. In closing, we've explored the importance of awareness and proactive initiative in depression among teens and young adults. Simultaneously, we've highlighted the transformative power of communication, reaching out, and fostering a culture of understanding. To advocate for a healthier society, we should actively engage in creating awareness, support initiatives that prioritize education of mental health, and become more supportive as listeners. To remember that sometimes the most potent natural treatment is caring, understanding conversation. We should envision and work towards a world where mental health is prioritized as health itself, and where we can collectively shape a future where treatment approaches are comprehensive, tailored to individual needs, and where no one has to battle against depression alone and in silence. Thank you for attention and commitment to this critical cause.
Good job, bud.
What happens when you go over your time?
I'm sure it'll be fine.